Away from Israel, all eyes will be on Oklahoma in the U.S. this week when the first case in a flood of litigation against opioid drug manufacturers begin. While Teva Pharmaceutical Industries agreed to pay $85 million as settlement before facing trial, Johnson & Johnson will face trial. Oklahoma Attorney General Mike Hunter's suit alleges that Johnson & Johnson, the nation's largest drug maker, helped ignite a public health crisis that has killed thousands of residents in Oklahoma. The further added that Johnson & Johnson and Teva, along with OxyContin maker Purdue Pharma LP, carried out deceptive marketing campaigns that downplayed opioids' addictive risks while overstating their benefits.
There's a responsibility here that we believe is clear with respect to public nuisance law in the state. These companies, we believe, made no effort when this process began 20 years ago to ensure that they were providing in a clear and informed way what the downside was to opioid analgesics.
However, most states in the U.S. and more than 1,600 local and tribal governments are suing drug makers and distributors. They are trying to recoup billions of dollars spent on addressing the fallout tied to opioid addiction. In the meanwhile, Johnson & Johnson, which has sales of over $80 billion in the year 2018, is already waging a public relations campaign or PR campaign as it continues to fight lawsuits alleging that its talc-based baby powder, the Johnson & Johnson baby powder, caused cancer in some consumers. The highest compensation ordered for medical negligence in India, Johnson & Johnson asked to pay over 1 crore and 90 lakh rupees, respectively, to 2 patients who suffered from faulty hip implants made by the company. Away from Johnson & Johnson, tech giants Microsoft and Facebook have agreed to help boost the security of Canada's elections in October by removing fake accounts and cracking down on bots. Last month, Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's Liberal government had complained that the world's major social media companies were not doing enough to help combat potential foreign meddling in elections. Democratic Institutions Minister Karina Gould told legislators that the 2 companies had made commitments in a voluntary declaration of electoral integrity and fears that bad actors, some linked to Russia, will try to interfere in Canada's vote.
Throughout the world's democracies, we see an online threat environment where malicious actors interfere with and try to influence the outcome of elections. These attacks are malicious. Sometimes they can be well masked and hard to detect. These threats can weaken our confidence in our democratic system and processes.
In the meanwhile, Microsoft and Facebook have also agreed to intensify efforts to combat disinformation, promote safeguards to address cybersecurity incidents, and explain their rules about accepting political advertising.